Is this team good? I don't want to say this team is good because if I say that they're good, it gives them the chance to hurt me. Welcome to From Center Ice. My name is Courtney and the Blackhawks have won 2 games in a row. Not only have they won 2 games in a row, they've won 2 games in a row in overtime. Not only have they won 2 games in a row, in overtime, but they've won 2 games in a row on the road? I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm seeing a lot of questions on the internet. I'm getting a lot of questions. Is this team good? They're playing well. I don't want to say that they are good. It is still very early. We saw very bad things from them to start the season. It could very easily go back to that. What I will say is what we are seeing now is very positive for the future. There isn't a whole lot more to intro this game, so let's jump into the 3 questions that I had for tonight's game against the Dallas Stars. Question number 1. Will the Blackhawks use their second power play unit? Not enough. They had a bunch of power play opportunities where they could have tied the game a lot earlier than they did. That first power play unit was on the ice for the majority of the power play time, and they still look like garbage. They aren't moving their feet, they can't keep the puck in the zone, it gets either cleared by the defenders or they just send it out themselves, because why not? Or if they do get pressure in the offensive zone, they just stand there. They've gone back to their old habits. I said it before and I'll keep saying it until they change it again. They started this season moving their feet, they were quick passes, they were getting the puck to the net. They weren't just standing with it at the half wall, stick handling, Patrick Kane, and it was working for them. Everybody noticed that there was something different about this power play. They were actually moving and it was working, because imagine that. You move your feet, you move the puck on the power play, and you get better chances? Are you telling me that if you don't just stand there and let the defenders get in the way of the puck and get in front of their goaltender to block shots, that you'll get better chances to score? Yes, that is what I'm telling you. But apparently they forgot that that worked for them. Thankfully, we have a second power play unit who has not forgotten that that works. They move their feet, they work for pucks, they win battles on the board, they enter the zone with ease, and they get shots to the net, and more often than not, they score. So, that being said, why is Jeremy Colliton so reluctant to use the second power play unit? Does he think if he keeps shoving the first unit out there, they'll just get it together, it'll just click, and all of a sudden they'll start scoring at a good clip? Because that's not what's happening. They're going out there, they're wasting a minute to a minute and a half of power play time when they could be getting good chances at the net. They're spending most of it in the neutral zone or in their own zone trying to regroup. And then by the time the second power play unit is able to get out there, there's like 30 seconds left and they don't have that much time to work with the puck. They have to take it from the neutral zone or their zone because the other unit just shot it down there and went for a change. And they are still more productive on the power play than that first unit is. I don't understand it. I was really annoyed on Twitter this whole game. If you are following along VF Center Ice Pod, I wanted them to start the second unit when the power play started. It just seems obvious. That first unit is not getting it done. The second one looks good every time they're out there. And then the heavens opened up. The angels blessed us with their graceful songs, and Jeremy Colliton decided to start the second power play unit at the beginning of the power play. And guess what? They scored! Imagine that! Who would have thought? Clearly not me. This team is so frustrating to watch. And yet they just keep winning. They're picking up points all over the place when they really shouldn't be. Thank God for Kevin Lankinen and Malcolm Subban. I don't know how this is happening. I mean, we've seen this plenty of times before, especially with Corey Crawford just dragging this lifeless team into the playoffs year after year. And now we have goaltenders who are playing amazing again, making up for where this team lacks, grabbing points that we should not be getting. This really shouldn't come as a surprise, but this roster is so new and so different from what we've had before. You'd think it just wouldn't happen again with all new goaltenders. I don't understand what is happening. Is this a curse placed on the Blackhawks team after winning those 3 cups in 6 years? Is it just written in stone that our goaltenders are going to have a rough go of it every single game and they have to play amazing or this team is not going to win? Is it written into law somewhere that power play unit number 1 has to be garbage? Because we have seen it year after year after year, and it never seems to get any better. It looked like it was getting there at the beginning of the season, and they just abandoned all of those good things they were doing and went back to their old bad habits. I have no explanation for it. I would sure love to hear an explanation from them on why they've decided to do this. Anywho, they didn't use their second power play unit very much, and when they did start them on the power play, they scored a goal to tie the game. Thank goodness for Matthias Janmark. He clearly wanted to play well against his old team, and he did. Question number 2. Will Brandon Hagel get his first goal? Nope. But he did have a wonderful assist on the overtime winning goal by Pius Suter. He grabbed the puck in the neutral zone. He beat the defender wide. Tell me if you've heard that before. He found Suter wide open in the offensive zone, got him the puck, and Pius Suter, oh my goodness, just pulled a beautiful move, made John Klingberg look silly, and put the puck past Jake Ottinger. Beautiful. Brandon Hagel needs to be on the ice in overtime. With the speed that he has, there's no reason for him not to see overtime minutes. Thankfully, these past few games, he has been on the ice for overtime. He had a good shift in the last game against Dallas, and he got the game-winning assist in this one. One would only assume that this would lead to more ice time for him, but assuming anything in hockey always comes back to bite you in the butt, because nothing ever makes sense. So no, Brandon Hagel has still not gotten his first goal, but he had another great game and a beautiful setup in overtime, so Pius Suter could get the game-winning goal. I just love watching him play. Question number 3. Which version of the Blackhawks defense will we get? The version where they play 7 defensemen and 11 forwards. We can now mark this down as one time that they have won while they've done this. Connor Murphy sustained an injury in that last game against Dallas. He is out with a hip injury. I don't know when it happened, if there was a specific hit, but he is out. Lucas Carlson came back in, and they rolled with 7 defenders. Madison Bowie came into the lineup from the taxi squad. That was interesting. I didn't notice him a whole lot, but I guess that's not always a bad thing, especially for a defender. Sometimes if you're noticing them, they're doing a lot of bad stuff on the ice. So while we got the version of the Blackhawks defense that saw 7 of them out there, the defense was pretty good tonight. Nikita Zadorov had a good game. Duncan Keith saved a goal. The puck was just sitting in the blue paint. Thankfully, he was able to get to it before, I believe, Rupe Hintz did, who got the first goal of the game for Dallas. Or I guess the only goal of the game for Dallas, because once again, our goaltender only allowed 1 goal from the Dallas Stars. It's so beautiful to say that. I love our goaltending. It's nice to see that when one of your main defensive defenders are out, the rest of the team can step up and fill in those holes. Sure, they made some gaffes. Of course they have to. I don't know what happened on that first goal. I don't really want to go and rewatch it. I will at some point. But Rupe Hintz was just all alone in front of the goaltender, pulled a good move, forehand, backhand over the goalie. That was the first shot of the game that Kevin Lankinen saw, and then he saved the next 34 shots in a row. That kid is a monster. Yes, there was another puck that went into the net, but Jamie Benn had cross-checked Kevin into the ice. That was clearly goaltender interference. They called it a good goal on the ice. Jeremy Colleton challenged it, won the challenge. It was called back for goalie interference. You cannot bully my goaltender, Jamie Benn. Sorry. It was great to see this team come away with another win, especially in overtime. Of course, you want them to get it done in regulation, but with how their overtimes were going before the first Dallas game, it's nice to see that they're able to turn that around and grab a win when it goes to extra time. While the defense was pretty good in this one, the rest of the team, I'm not so sure. There were good shifts, there were bad shifts, of course, but overall, the team just didn't really look like it was gelling completely tonight. And of course, with the first power play unit seeing so much time, that was very frustrating and looked very bad. But hey, if they don't show up for a full 60 minutes of a game and still get the overtime win, yes, it's not ideal. It's not something you want to see every game, but it's better than them putting in a horrible effort, getting the loss and then you're just not happy about anything. I will take the wins where I can get them, especially with the Ice Hogs losing this afternoon, and I wasn't very happy about that. So thankfully the Blackhawks redeemed the game by putting this one away in overtime. Now we leave Dallas behind. We go back home to the United Center where the Columbus Blue Jackets are back. And now the Blue Jackets have Patrick Laine for the Hawks to worry about. Of course, he was benched by Tortorella for a period and a half, but you can't bank on that happening every game because then he's just gonna come out and score a bunch of power play goals on you and you're gonna be real upset about it. So let's jump into the 3 questions I have for the next game against the Columbus Blue Jackets back at home in Chicago. Question 1. Will the Blackhawks show up for a full 60? Clearly they didn't today. They still grabbed the win, but you can't do that every game. It's not going to go well, and you're going to end up with a losing record. And the way things are trending with this team, if they keep putting in a consistent effort, maybe they won't have a losing record. Not saying that they'll make the playoffs, but maybe they just won't be as bad as we thought they were going to be, or as bad as they were projecting themselves to be at the beginning of the year. So, will they show up on Thursday and compete for the full 60 minutes? I sure hope so, because Thursday is my birthday and I don't want to watch a bad game, quite frankly. I can only remember one game that they won on my birthday, which was against Edmonton a few years back at this point. It seems like I always end up with a birthday loss, so if they could just not do that this year, that would be wonderful. Question 2. Can they win 4 in a row? This is the first time we've seen them with a 3-game winning streak. Can they extend that to 4? I know I am putting a lot of hope in this team to win 4 games in a row, but I just really want them to win on my birthday. So can they please win 4 in a row? I mean, will they win 4 in a row? Please. Question 3. Will the Blackhawks go to overtime again? We have seen a lot of overtime from this team so far this year. Both games against Dallas went to overtime. The game that they lost against Carolina went to the shootout. Both games they played against Nashville went to overtime. And that's just the past couple weeks. So, can this team close this game out in regulation, hopefully with a win? Or will they go to overtime again? Those are my 3 questions for Thursday night's game against Columbus. I didn't have any player-specific questions this time. The team played all right. Otherwise, it was pretty boring, and the players who did have a bad game, I just don't feel like picking on them. I feel like I'm in a good mood now that they won this game, and Brandon Hagel with the beautiful setup on the overtime goal, it just really put me in a better mood. So I kept my 3 questions broad and for the whole team. What about you? Do you have any questions going into this next series against Columbus? They play them on Thursday and on Saturday, both of them at home at the United Center. How are you feeling about this season so far? What do you think about this team? I would certainly love to know. Please leave those thoughts in the comments. All of that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to hear more from me or more from Center Ice, you can check out FromCenterIce.com. Keep up with the latest podcast episodes. I post a preview before every Blackhawks game, a recap of every Ice Hogs game, and a bunch of other stuff in between. You can also check out our social media pages. Those are linked in the description down below. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel for Blackhawks and Ice Hogs goodness. Click all the things, read all the things, watch all the things, listen to all the things. This team is exciting right now, and I really don't want to get too excited, but they're just fun to watch most of the time. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will catch you all after the next game. Bye, guys. Thank you all for watching. Please hit that subscribe button to catch more From Center Ice content. If you could, hit the like button on this video, maybe share it with a friend or two. And while you're here, check out the podcast playlist and catch up on some old episodes. We will catch y'all next time. Bye!